Hey everybody, welcome back. Jesse from Portable Church. Today we're going to be talking about finding your facility. It's something that seems really complicated, but it can be pretty simple if we help you walk through these steps. So let's get into it. All right, why the facility matters. I know some of you are saying that the church isn't a building, and that's true. However, the church does shape a lot of what the community thinks about you and how you're perceived and how your people interact and engage with it. Winston Churchill actually said that we shape our buildings and eventually our buildings shape us. So let's talk about what that means. Let's start with the practicals. It's really easy to get caught up in the aesthetics of the building, how it looks, what's the carpet color. That stuff, it matters, but it's not the most important thing right off the bat. The first thing we need to be thinking about are logistics. How are you going to engage with that facility, and does the facility support you loading in and loading out every single weekend? Here's what we need to look for. Is there enough room for your kids, right? Are the rooms big enough? Are they safe? Are they easy to secure and control? Can you create the environment that you're looking for? How accessible is the building? Is it easy to get stuff in and out? Is it easy for your people to get in and out of the space? Let's talk about parking. How easy is it for people to get to your space? How easy is it to get in and out of the parking lot? If there's only one entrance and you've got 500 cars, that's going to create some challenges. You got to think through these things. Next one, is your worship space functional? Can you fit the number of people that you're looking to? Can you create the type of set that you're looking to build? Do you have room for a stage? Do you have a good spot to put lighting? Where are the speakers gonna go? What's your floor plan? Okay, I mentioned it a couple spots ago, but let's talk about parking capacity. Real interesting tidbit, elementary schools, for example, not a whole lot of parking. Kids don't really drive, and if you're driving yourself to elementary school and you're still attending, that's a whole separate conversation, but it's really meant for teachers and a few parents that show up for conferences or whatever. If you're really wanting to address that, look at spaces that have plenty of parking, because that can become a limitation. If, for example, going back to the elementary school, if they have to park on the street because there's no room, how far down do you go? What does that mean for that neighborhood, and how does that affect you? Storage load in and load out. What's the flow of your cases in your system in and out of that space? Is it really easy? Do you have to load in from a back hallway and then roll all the way through the school? While it's doable, it's not a whole lot of fun to do week after week, and we have to be thinking about repetitive systems. What is something that we can continue to do week after week after week? Okay, here's one that catches a lot of people off guard, and that's electrical capacity. This sounds kind of crazy, but you need 5 or 6 dedicated circuits to be able to run all the stuff for your front of house, your stage, your band, your video projection. Everything requires power, and you've got to have enough for it. All right, those are some practical pieces. They're not always the most fun or exciting, but come Sunday, your volunteers and your team are really going to be glad that you thought through that stuff. Okay, landlords and contracts. Let's talk about something that everybody loves, and that's contracts. On a serious note though, you really do need to make sure that the people that you're working with or the facility you're looking at want you there. If they don't, for example, let's say the drama teacher doesn't want you in that school, you're gonna have a hard time using the stage at the high school. Same thing goes with movie theaters. If you don't have the buy-in from the general manager, it's gonna be tough. One of the things that's really important I want you to think about too is make sure that whatever they're telling you that you have access to or usage of is written in that contract. For example, it's all fun and games until HVAC isn't written into your contract, whether July in Atlanta or it's January in Michigan. That becomes really important really fast. Also, on-site storage. Are they going to allow you to store things on site? Can you drop a container somewhere on the property? Or are you going to have to trailer everything in? These are additional questions. Same thing goes with signage. When you look at your facility, you look at the building, where can you put signs? Where can't you put signs? Does the municipality have issues with you using the easement or not? All of these things play a role in this. Again, contracts are not fun, but really important to make sure that your contract is ready to go before you get into that building. Let's look at the whole ministry space. It's really easy to fall in love with one room or one environment. However, if other areas aren't conducive to what you're really trying to do, then the whole thing is going to suffer. So you've got to make sure, are you covering kids well? What about the worship experience? What about the volunteer areas, your lobby, your hospitality? All of this stuff plays together to create a holistic experience that is good for everyone. So make sure that you're covering all the bases, not focusing on one individual aspect. The qualitative side. Now that we've asked the other questions, we've still got a few more to go. So let's dive into this. What's the atmosphere? What's the smell? Is it clean? What's the building's reputation in the community? Because whoever was in there last, if they were there for long enough, has developed a reputation, and you might be absorbing some of that. If any one of these things are a no, some of them are easily solved with some lighting, a little bit of elbow grease, maybe a scent machine. But these are real important questions you need to ask. Your final question, do I like the space? You've assessed everything else, you've gone through the facility, you've walked the rooms, you've mapped it all out, but if you don't like the space, that's gonna show up in the way that you show up, and your staff is gonna feel that, and whatever excitement level you don't have is gonna trickle down to them. So as you're walking through this on your final tour, your final minutes, ask yourself the question, do I want to invite people here and do I want to be here? If that answer is no, doesn't matter. Everything else might be irrelevant. That might be the most important question. If you would like to know more, please click the link below. Call us if you have any questions. We're happy to help in any way we can. If you have found this to be helpful, please subscribe, like the video. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.